Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Sess, your host from BTMI, and it's truly a pleasure to have you all here. We're delighted to have our wonderful sponsor, Donaldson, with us today, who'll be presenting this webinar titled Future Ready OEM Partnerships, Advancing Food and Beverage Solutions. Let me introduce our esteemed guest speakers for today. Please welcome Andre, Senior Key Account Manager at Donaldson. Andre brings over 30 years of experience to this position. He joined Donaldson in 1993 and spent 27 years consulting food and beverage customers in Hamburg and Bremen, guiding them through stringent quality and safety requirements. 5 years ago, he transitioned to the process filtration key account team, where his deep industry knowledge and customer-centric approach make him a trusted advisor worldwide. We also have Scott, Senior Application Engineer at Donaldson Company, with us today. Scott is a seasoned filtration expert with over 35 years of experience in filtration technologies across a wide range of industrial markets, including the pharmaceutical and food and beverage sectors. Since joining Donaldson in 2014, Scott has held several key roles, beginning as regional manager for the US and Canada, where he supported sterile filtration applications in both liquid and gas systems. Now, before we dive in, let me quickly walk you through our webinar platform on 24. This webinar is browser-based, so if you get disconnected, just click the link in your email to rejoin. We'll be running a few polls during today's session and we'd love for you to participate. And today's session is being recorded, so you'll be able to watch it on demand later. If you have any questions during the webinar, we'd love to hear them. Simply type them into the questions widget at the bottom of your screen and click submit. We'll save some time at the end for a Q&A session to go over your queries. And if you need any technical assistance, the help widget is available to support you, and you can also resize or maximize any of the windows on your screen for a better view of the slides. And now, without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to our first guest speaker, Scott.
Thank you, Sess, for that introduction. And thank you all for joining today's webinar. Before we dive in, let's take a quick look at today's agenda. First, we'll examine market trends and opportunities, and then we'll take a quick look at filtration and aseptic technologies, and then we'll finish off with strategic partnerships and a review of case studies. But before beginning all of that, I'd like to pass the conversation over to my colleague, Andre, for a brief overview on Donaldson.
Thank you, Scott, and welcome everybody. So, who is Donaldson? We are a global company with our headquarters in Minneapolis. We are present in more than 40 countries, and our revenue in 2024 was $3.69 billion US. One of our core competencies is the production and continuous development of filter media. To support that, we have more than 100 labs and we own 3,200 patents. In the last 11 years, we acquired 13 new companies to expand our product range. Donaldson is a strategic partner. As a global company, we can offer worldwide support. Since we are also in direct contact with end customers, we are familiar with the situations at the production sites and what is important to them. We are an innovative company with more than 1,000 scientists and engineers. The design of our products is engineered for efficiency and optimization. This helps us with space-saving design of our filter housings, which machine manufacturers like OEMs usually greatly appreciate. We are reliable, founded in 1915 in the US by Frank Donaldson. And today we have more than 15,000 employees worldwide. Next, we want to take a closer look at the market trends and opportunities. Scott, could you help us out with that?
Absolutely. And first of all, thank you, Andre, for that great overview on Donaldson's background. It really sets the stage for what we're going to cover today. Before we go any further, our moderator, Seth, is going to help us deliver a quick poll question. Seth?
Thank you, Scott. I'm now launching our first poll of today. Everyone should now see on your screen. And the first question is, what type of filtration is most commonly used in the machines your companies manufacture? Now, we've got a few options for you to pick from. We've got A, sim filtration, B, compressed air or gas filtration, C, liquid filtration, D, atmospheric, and E, cross-flow membrane filtration. So that is our first poll. I can see a few responses coming in, so I'll give everyone a few more seconds to think it through. Great. And if you haven't had the chance to vote yet, please go ahead and click your choice now. If you have, fantastic. Let's give our attendees a few more seconds. If you have any questions for our speakers, we also have a Q&A widget. Please feel free to add any questions you would like to ask them, and we'll go through your queries at the end of today's session. All right, and with that, looks like most of you have weighed in. So let's go ahead and wrap this first poll. Thank you for participating in this. And back to you, Scott.
Excellent. Thank you so much for participating. So, what's the biggest game changer in the food and beverage industry right now? I don't think it's a new ingredient. I think it's consumer demand. People want products that stay fresh on the shelf without preservatives. They're asking for all natural ingredients that deliver functional benefits like probiotics. But here's the challenge. Many of these ingredients are heat sensitive, which means manufacturers need new techniques for stabilization. The shift, I feel, is helping rewrite the playbook for processors and OEMs. And the most exciting part, ready-to-drink beverages are leading the charge. According to a Fortune Business Insight, this category is on rocket trajectory, growing from about $805 billion at the end of this year, just a couple weeks, to over $1.2 trillion projected by 2032. So, is this just a trend or a full-scale transformation? I'll let you decide. Within this trend, we're seeing a demand for ESL and aseptic packaging or aseptic-like packaging that extends shelf life without compromising product safety or quality. At the same time, OEMs face new challenges. Heat-sensitive ingredients like probiotics and plant proteins, and of course, functional additives that require gentler processing. That means advanced methods and equipment designs that minimize product stress while ensuring microbial safety. Specifically in liquid dairy, I feel the stakes are higher. Strict microbial control and nutrient preservation are essential. Packaging is shifting to higher barrier materials and aseptic cartons that block light and oxygen, all the while supporting this demand for extended shelf life. OEMs that integrate these capabilities will meet growing expectations for clean label, shelf-stable dairy, and RTD beverages. Let's talk about 3 key priorities for success in this space. First, customize high-performance solutions, including specialized filtration and process systems tailored to meet unique processor requirements, helping to ensure optimal performance and compliance. Second, scalable, hygienic systems, designs that maintain hygienic integrity while allowing processors to adapt quickly to changing production demands and regulatory requirements are going to be an important part of the process flow. And third, technical leadership that sponsors growth, combining deep technical expertise with market insights to help OEM partners drive this innovation and improve operational efficiency at the end user, and ultimately provide and support long-term business expansion. To help us explore some of the technologies in filtration, I'd like to pass the conversation back to my colleague, Andre. Andre?
Thank you, Scott. Aseptic solutions for safety and compliance is our next topic. And yeah, the aseptic filling machine is a very good example of an OEM product with various filtration applications. But before we go into more detail, I would like to ask, what is a filter? Sounds like a simple question, but what does a filter do? And the answer is, a filter is a system of contamination control. And at an aseptic filling machine, various support media are used. The machine factorer, the OEM, usually takes care of the contamination control at the handover point. And to achieve that, in many cases, multi-stage filtration is needed. When I visited the Drink Tech in Munich 3 months ago, the most frequently used support medium was compressed air. So let's start with that. There are 4 contaminants in compressed air that must be controlled: particles, water, hydrocarbons like liquid oil, or depending on the temperature, oil in vapor form, and microorganisms. To achieve that, a dryer is needed to control water. You can see it on the right side, the picture. A coalescing filter is needed to control liquid oil. And an active carbon filter is needed to control oil vapors. And finally, a sterile filter to control microorganisms. On the first picture, we see a multi-stage filtration unit for compressed air, consisting of a coalescing filter on the left side, followed by an active carbon filter and the sterile air filter. We also see multi-stage filtration for liquid and for culinary steam. In liquid and vapor filtration, multi-stage filtration is also used to spread the particle load across multiple systems. For that, the end filter usually has at least 1 pre-filter. This increases the lifetime of the filter elements and thus reduces downtime caused by filter exchange. Solving complex filtration challenges in food and beverage. Donaldson can provide all these comprehensive filtration solutions: particle removal technology, coalescing technology, absorption technology with a B, absorption and adsorption technology with a D, and validated microbiological filtration technology. As we saw on the previous slides, these are all contamination controlled systems that are often required for comprehensive filtration solution at OEM machines. Next topic, filter media technology. As mentioned earlier, filter media are one of Donaldson's core competencies. Our goal is to come as close as possible to the perfect filter media, which has the lowest differential pressure at maximum flow rate with a reliable retention rate. Yeah. So filter media is important. And our next topic are filtration requirements across sub-markets. And I'm asking Scott again if you can help us out here.
Most certainly, Andre, and thank you for that overview. Filtration is critical in beverage production for sure. It ensures safety, quality, and compliance. But each category has unique challenges. For bottled water and soft drinks, the goal is simple: remove particulates and microorganisms for a clear, refreshing product. Dairy and plant-based beverages are a little bit more complex. Sterile air and gas filtrations help optimize fermentations for those active or functional beverages that contain those probiotics, while liquid filtration removes spoilage organisms without stripping those critical nutrients. Heat-sensitive ingredients often require cold stabilization or without pasteurization. And lastly, alcoholic beverages demand precision, preserving flavor and aroma and clarity. Common methods include depth filters for wine and beer and membrane filtration for microbial control. Filtration isn't just technical, it's strategic. Done right, it protects quality and builds, ultimately, consumer trust. Now we're going to review two separate topics. First, innovation, and then sustainability. But before going further, if you would so kindly engage in our second poll question, again, Seth will walk us through this process.
Thank you, Scott. And yes, I'm now launching our second poll of the day. Same idea as the first. Please select the option that fits you best. There are no right or wrong answers. And the question for today's poll is: what are the two most critical factors you consider when selecting a filtration system for your machine? Got a few options there. A, food and safety quality. B, space-saving design. C, sustainability. D, economic aspects. E, innovation. Choose the options that fit you best. And great, I can see some answers being inputted already, so I'll give the rest of our attendees some more time to think this question through. Righty, thank you for taking a moment to respond. We'll give our attendees a few more seconds and we'll jump into the responses. Alrighty, and that is it. Alright, it looks like we've gotten all our response, and here's a great snapshot of where everyone is today. Again, we appreciate your input, and with that, I'll pass things back to Scott.
Excellent. Thank you all. Yes. Really good feedback. And again, it helps shape our internal discussions here at Donaldson. So thank you. So let's talk about partnerships. Strategic collaborations between OEMs and filtration experts transform customers' needs into tailored solutions for dairy, brewing, and plant-based applications. By combining our process knowledge with filtration expertise, these partnerships deliver systems that meet safety and quality demands. They also help accelerate innovation and shorten time to market, Joint initiatives help streamline R&D by pooling resources and enabling prototyping, so manufacturers can quickly meet consumer demands for clean, label, sustainable, high-quality products. Together, OEMs and technology providers tackle challenges like energy efficiency and compliance and reliability. This synergy protects product integrity, helps reduce costs, and creates a competitive edge in a crowded marketplace. Now let's shift the conversation to sustainability. It's a core focus in modern manufacturing. OEMs and partners are embracing practices like water reuse and right-sizing filtration systems for energy savings that help reduce waste. A key strategy is predictive services or maintenance. Technology-based monitoring allows maintenance teams, whether they're in-house or external, to anticipate issues before they occur. For example, following a quarterly test protocol with an ISO-verified compressed air sampling tool helps prevent unplanned downtime, optimize filter life, improve energy efficiency, and support compliance through sustainability reporting. The connection is clear. Efficiency drives sustainability. Less waste, lower energy use, and longer equipment life all contribute to a resilient production environment. Next, I'll share a few case studies that show real-world results and the impact that these solutions have on production environments. How common is this item? Your morning coffee creamer involves far more than most consumers realize. All three major process utilities play a role in this production. Every critical control point requires high-level filtration. Key utilities include culinary grade steam for SIP, compressed air meeting ISO 8573-1 standards for sterile air needs, and then yes, ultimately, sterile compressed air for things like thermoforming and filling, and sterile water for product pushouts in post CIP and SIP rinse. Filter integrity is essential, both for the sterile grade utilities that I just mentioned. They must deliver measurable results to maintain compliance with the original system validation. Donaldson has a long history of serving the OEM market with filtration expertise. Some of our clients could be listening in today. This example and those that follow show tangible benefits of strategic alliance, how collaboration drives innovation and operational excellence. Your cup of yogurt isn't simple. Keeping it fresh for weeks requires advanced processing in ultra-clean environments. Air steam is used for pasteurization and SIP, or sterilized in place. But boiler steam can carry rust and scale, so multi-stage filtration to culinary standards is essential. Compressed air must be free of particles, oil, and bacteria. Best practices, again, a three-stage or multi-stage system ending with a sterile grade filter validated to ASTM standards. And then finally, sterile water handles rinsing in product displacement, like again, product push. Using pre-filtration in a 0.2 micron membrane to remove bacteria and spores is part of the solution. And then ultimately, we find that we need to add a sterile vent filter for aseptic tanks. With all of this put together, you have safeguards that ensure this product safety and quality and, yes, shelf life. So imagine your PET bottling machine is running smoothly. Then a tiny contaminant enters the process. invisible, yet capable of causing downtime, costly repairs, and quality issues. That's why filtration matters. It protects sensitive parts, preserves product integrity, and ensures compliance. But not all systems perform the same. Choosing the right approach makes all the difference. So ask yourself, what matters most? Equipment protection, quality, reduced downtime? Filtration isn't one size fits all. Align technology with your priorities, because when filtration works, everything else works better. To thrive in today's market, OEMs need strong partnerships with technology leaders. Why? Because these alliances unlock new capabilities, accelerate innovation, and help future-proof operations. Think about this. Partnering with experts like Donaldson enhances your value proposition and delivers superior solutions. Strategic collaboration isn't about today, it's about what's next. Together, these partnerships create a competitive edge and position OEMs for long-term success. As we've seen today, the food and beverage industry is changing fast, driven by consumer demand. Meeting these expectations takes more than equipment. It requires innovation, precision, and strong partnerships. By working together, we can turn complex challenges into opportunities for growth. Here's a key takeaway. Filtration may seem small, but when it works well, everything works better. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to partnering with you and wish you and yours a joyless holiday season. This concludes our presentation. Let's move on to our questions and answers.
Thank you very much, Scott and Andre, for your informative presentation. Now let's dive into our Q&A session. A quick reminder for our audience: to ask questions, simply use the questions widget. Just type them into the box at the bottom of your screen and click submit. Now we have some early bird questions here already from our attendees. So let's kick things off with this first question. Are coalescing and activated carbon filters also necessary if you have an oil-free compressor?
Wow, that's a great question. I often hear from my customers, so I would like to answer that. Yes, it is necessary, and the reason for that is an oil-free compressor. What it does is not to add oil to the air, which is coming from outside, from the environment. And so it does not add oil from the machine itself, but of course, there are hydrocarbons and other chemicals which might, or ingredients that might affect your product. So we need to remove them, and that's why we need an active carbon filter in any way. And even better if it is protected by a coalescing filter. Hope this answers the question.
Great, thank you very much. Now let's go to our next one. Okay, this looks like an interesting one. How can Donaldson support our customers during an audit?
I'd like to take that one. I've actually participated in this several times. So the answer to the question, very short, is yes, we can provide support, but how? Well, of course, the support will be centric to the performance and the validation and the integrity of our filter elements or filter systems. On top of that, we have deep knowledge in the regulatory space, whether it would be here in the United States with the pasteurized milk ordinance or 3A or EHEDGE. We understand hygienic design and can speak to that on behalf of end users or our OEM when engaging with process authorities.
Fantastic. On to the next question. Can Donaldson's liquid filter be cleaned with steam?
If you don't mind, Andre, I'll take that one too. The use of the word cleaned here is kind of interesting. I would say initially no, but let's clarify that. Our filter elements can be sterilized with steam. Cleaning them would be before the sterilization process. So yes, we would clean our filter elements, but with a liquid solution, a hot liquid solution, typical in a CIP system. And then after that, there would be a sterile rinse and then sterilized with culinary grade steam, I think is the proper way to look at this.
Thank you very much for answering that, Scott. And another question I'll ask before we close off our Q&A is, as an OEM, how can we ensure that customers operating our machines with culinary steam, is there a filter for this?
Yeah, I would like to answer that. Yeah, so first of all, we need to clarify there are different applications for steam used in the food and beverage industry. So steam in general is used for a lot of applications like heat exchangers or cleaning. Usually the steam has no contact with the product itself during these applications. And when we speak about culinary steam, we talk about steam that has contact with the product or the packaging for various reasons, usually to extend the shelf life. And this steam usually is coming from a different source. So from a steam boiler, which is completely from stainless steel, and it's smaller in size because we don't have that high demand on culinary steam. And yes, for to remove possible particles in that culinary steam, we have filter elements for that, but we cannot make from normal steam, which is coming from a steel boiler. We cannot make culinary steam out of it with this particle filter, and because there are usually also chemicals or other additives in that steam, and we cannot remove it with a filter, or at least not with our cartridge filter systems. So, but from culinary steam with the source of a stainless steel boiler, yes, we can do that, and this is very often done.
Great, fantastic insights, Scott and Andre, and thank you for answering all these great questions. Now, as we're approaching the end of our session, we'll need to wrap up the Q&A. But please don't worry if we didn't get to your questions, as our speakers and team will follow up with you after the webinar. And that brings us to the end of today's session. A huge thank you again to Scott and Andre for their expert insights, and to our sponsor, Donaldson, for making this webinar possible. To all our attendees, keep an eye on your email for instructions on accessing the on-demand version of this webinar. You can also find it on our website. Stay connected with us for more exciting webinars. Follow us on X and LinkedIn at BTMI Webinars for daily updates. And once again, thank you for joining us today, and I wish you all a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.